Hello everyone, myself Deepa Singh, working as assistant professor in Gyanvia School of Pharmacy at GU. Today we discuss our next topic, that is pharmacokinetic parameter of two compartmental model. In this we covered IV infusion as well as extravascular administration. In previous lecture we already completed introduction part of multiple dosing as well as multiple dosing interval, or is multiple dosing including steady state concentration with their derivative. So we continue two compartmental model in this lecture. In this, we covered a two compartmental model of IV infusion as well as extravascular administration. So it is a topic of sixth semester biopharm and biopharmaceutics and pharmacokinetics subjects. So before starting this topic, you should know about some learning objects of this topic. So in learning object, these are the learning objects. We should know about introduction of a two compartmental model. Means what is a two compartmental model, introduction part of these two compartmental model, the complete description regarding the two compartmental model, because in previous unit we already covered one compartmental model, so you should know about difference between one compartmental and two compartmental model. Next is assessment of two compartmental model, means some assessment parameter and how to perform this assessment of two compartmental model, as well as two compartmental model IV infusion, means what is IV infusion and how you calculate the parameter for IV infusion or when drug given by IV infusion route. Next is two compartmental model, extravascular administration. In this we covered the two compartmental model, but the route of administration got changed. In this, drug is given by extravascular route. So you should know about both IV infusion as well as extravascular administration with their derivative and assessment of these reactions. So let's start this topic. And this introduction part is first pharmacokinetics. Definition of pharmacokinetics, you should know about what is pharmacokinetics, because these compartmental modeling including one compartment and two compartment come in the pharmacokinetic parameters. So in this pharmacon means drug kinetics or motion, means when we separate out this pharmacokinetics into pharmacon, then pharmacon derives from a drug or kinesis, or you can say that motion and change of rate, means kinetics. So is it motion or change of rate of a drug, in particular kinesis or motion? So pharmacokinetics is a study of a kinetics. So we can study of a kinetics. In kinetics, mainly we cover different ADME parameter, including absorption, distribution, metabolism, and excretion of a drug and their corresponding pharmacological, therapeutic, or toxic response in man and animal. Means in pharmacokinetics, we study the kinetic parameter of ADME, absorption, distribution, metabolism, and excretion, as well as some pharmacological response of that particular drug at particular site, and therapeutic and toxic response in man as well as in human or in animals. So in this we compare the study that you are performing in animal as well as in man. You compare and finalize your formulation according to these pharmacokinetic parameter, according to ADME parameter, as well as therapeutic and toxic response or pharmacological response. So it is the introduction or definition of pharmacokinetics, how you define the pharmacokinetic parameter. Next is after single dose administration, the plasma level rises above and falls below the minimum effective concentration. And we already see in yesterday lecture that when you take in a single drug dose or when a concentration of a specific drug, the concentration at that particular level that rises or increase until that peak is received or reaches to maximum concentration. And after that peak or when plasma level is rises, this is the minimum effective concentration. When it start falling down or shows effect of that particular response, and resulting in decline is therapeutic effect. Means when it get decline or start falling down, it is known as therapeutic effect. And the maintain prolonged therapeutic activity, many drugs are in a multiple doses. So in single dose is not sufficient to maintain the particular effect for long period of a time, and particular desired effect of activity of a data for long period of a time. In this condition, we select multiple dosing regimen. A drug is given by multiple doses so that you can maintain that particular peak or a particular therapeutic effect of that drug. So in this condition, we are continuing the dosing regimen. After one dosing or one dose, the concentration get fall down, therapeutic responses fall down, then we administer the second dose, so you can maintain this therapeutic effect at particular time period or at desired effect. Next is in calculating the multiple dosing regimen, desired or target plasma drug concentration must be related to therapeutic response as well as multiple dose regimen must be designed to produce concentration within the therapeutic window. Means in this condition, for multiple dose, or you can say that a single dose, both are dependent on therapeutic response. If single dose effect or short effect is sufficient, then you check that how much therapeutic effect is produced. If you are taking a disease drug for a long time period disease or require multiple dosing effect, in this you check that how much therapeutic response is produced, and after a specific time how much dose is get decreased, or you can check how the therapeutic window is reaches or maintain the particular concentration in multiple dosing as well as. So this is a multiple dosing. Next, in this, there are two main parameters that are will be adjusted by developing the dosage regimen. These two parameters you should maintain for adjustment of dose regimen. In this, first is size of the drug dose, means how much administration dose or particular dose of your drug that you size or of your drug. Next is frequency of drug administration, means if you are administering single dose or multiple dose. If in case you are administering multiple dose, then how much frequency or how much time interval you take between the two dose so that you can easily adjust the dose. So in this, you should also know about time period or dose interval between the two doses and time interval between the two doses. These are the two parameters that may be responsible, or you can help with these two parameters develop the or adjust the dosage of your drug. Next is dosage regimen. So definition of dosage regimen is the frequency of administration of a drug in particular dose is called as dosage regimen. Means frequency or time period that how rapidly you are administering or how much frequency you are administering that particular dose or particular drug. So this frequency of administration of a drug is known as dosage regimen. Next, in this, we can say that for some drug like analgesic, single dose is efficient for optimal therapeutic effect. Then single drug dose or single dose or only one drug can show that sufficient optimal therapeutic effect. This is you can say that single dose is sufficient, but if you require multiple effect, then this dose is not sufficient. Otherwise, single dose can reach us to maximum concentration and show the maximum effect. And this is the optimal therapeutic effect. However, the duration of most illness are longer than the therapeutic effect. In some cases, it require long time effect or long time period effect. So in this condition, you can say that long time effect is required for particular disease. Suppose other cancer like disease, this disease is not single dose dependent disease. So in this condition, we are selecting multiple dose, and in this condition, you maintain the therapeutic effect of that multiple dose. And in such cases, drug required to taken on a repetitive basis over a period of a time, and depending on nature of illness. Means you are taking these drug concentration at a specific repetitive time or a specific time period, and after taking this repetitive dose over a period of a time, you should make sure that nature of illness gets changed and your disease may be somewhat or little what get recovered. So in this condition for long time disease, we are selecting the multiple dosing. Next is multiple dose administration, how you administer a certain parameter for the administration of this multiple dosing. So in this multiple dose administration refer to the administration of successive doses of a drug in which drug is administered frequently with constant dose interval. Both dose interval are chosen for that. Means you are administering multiple dose or number of a dose, and in this repetitive manner administration is for successive manner, and the frequency of dose administration with constant dose interval is required. In this, both dose and dose interval for chosen for what? The plasma concentration maintained with the therapeutic range. Means you can also maintain the plasma drug concentration or plasma concentration of a drug with therapeutic range, so that you can receive that particular therapeutic range or therapeutic drug effect of drug when you check the plasma concentration, how much drug is present in your plasma, and so that you can easily calculate the dose that is present in your plasma, and these doses are sufficient to show the therapeutic effect or not. Next is to get the maximum therapeutic and clinical effect. Means this is also important to get the maximum or required therapeutic effect or clinical effect of particular drug. When you take the multiple dosing or single dosing, then you should make sure that your drug has sufficient capacity to maintain the maximum therapeutic or clinical effect of your drug. Next is basic consideration for multiple dosing regimen. So in this consideration, these are some of the consideration to adjust the multiple dosing or when given the multiple dosing. And the size of the dose drug, how much dose or size of drug you are administering to that particular patient. So in this size or dose of drug is very important. Next is frequency of drug administration, means time interval between the doses or how much frequency is sufficient to administration of a drug. So frequency of drug administration or time interval between the doses. Next is successive dose of the drug, how much you are given the continuation of a drug or multiple dosing. In this mainly we can say that suppose for multiple dosing you are taking a 5 dose, so that in this we confirm that how much time interval is required for these 5 doses, or you are taking all successive 5 doses or not. So in this successive doses of a particular drug or size or dose of the drug or frequency of drug administration. Next, in this dose interval should be such that drug does not leave the body completely before the next dose. Means you should maintain the peak concentration or a specific concentration of that drug in your body. Suppose you are giving the drug in multiple doses, then you should make sure that there's no zero order age release or completely drug is eliminated out to your body. Before this completion of the drug, you should administer second dose or give the second drug dose. So you should maintain the peak concentration of a drug. When one drug leave out to your body, then you administer the next second dose before reaching or completely elimination. Next is a steady state concentration must be maintained between the minimum effective concentration and maximum therapeutic concentration level. Hence, you should also maintain the steady state concentration between the two concentration. One is minimum effective concentration where the effect of particular drug is started, and second is maximum therapeutic level where the maximum almost complete drug show the effect. So in this, you should maintain the steady state. There's no complete giving of first dose is from your body, and then maybe you administered or given second dose of your drug before leaving our first dose. So you should maintain the steady state. Next is excessive fluctuation in drug level should not be allowed. Means no fluctuation or more fluctuation is not allowed in this multiple dosing. You should avoid this fluctuation or excessive fluctuation in this drug level. And next is drug should not be accumulated. Means your drug should also in a circulation position or reaches a particular site. It don't accumulate any single tissue or any body part. It should be show that therapeutic effect, and excessive drug can be, eliminate out or excrete out. If it accumulate in your body, then there may be chances that there may be show more toxic effect or unwanted effect. So drug should not be accumulate. It can easily remove out through your body. Next is desired plasma drug concentration must be related to therapeutic response. Means plasma drug concentration or effect of a drug, plasma drug concentration show the therapeutic response or sufficient therapeutic response in plasma concentration. Next is pharmacokinetics parameter should be obtained after single dose. Pharmacokinetic parameter means ADME parameter. It should be received or obtained all these ADME parameter after single dose administration. Next in MDR, it is necessary to decide whether successive dose have any effect on previous dose. Means you can say that multiple doses regimen should have a sufficient effect to that particular disease, or it show the desired effect for that particular dose or successive dose to previous dose. So you should also maintain the particular effect of your dose or successive dose of your drug. Next is common drug in MDR or multiple doses regimen. These drug is mainly for long time disease or severe condition where single dose is not sufficient. So these are some of the example of a drug that you are given in multiple doses regimen. In this, antibiotics like ampicillin, anticonvulsant like phenobarbital and phenytoin, anti-epileptic like phenytoin, anti-cancer, anti-diabetic. An anti-diabetic example is insulin. Next is antihistaminic, anti-asthmatics in this bronchodilator also, and the example is theophylline. Next is cardiotonics digoxin. So in this cardiotonic digoxin is this digotoxin and other some of the example. Next is contraceptive. In this contraceptive is progesterone hormone. These are some formulation that is required for multiple dosing, or single dose is not sufficient to show the particular desired effect of your disease. So you should take the multiple doses of your drug, or multiple dose interval is required for these type of the disease. These are some of the example. Other than some another many disease is also included. Next is purpose of multiple dose regimen. So in this purpose, we can say that to maintain the plasma level within the therapeutic range, and so sufficient effect or sufficient concentration of a drug present in your plasma, and it maintain the effect in therapeutic range or within the therapeutic range. Next is to obtain the plasma level without excessive fluctuation in drug accumulation. In this, no fluctuation or excessive fluctuation as you can say that consider, or no drug accumulation is also takes place. And this plasma level should be maintained, and no excessive fluctuation and drug accumulation is also not takes place. Next is to maintain the minimum effective concentration. In this, we can say that you should maintain the minimum effect of your concentration. And don't reach just to at a very high level or don't show any toxic effect. It should be within the minimum effect concentration, required effect concentration. So you should also maintain the minimum effect of your drug. Next is to maintain the steady state plasma tissue drug concentration for long-term management disease. We already discussed that the steady state concentration. So in this condition, steady state is also very important. You should maintain this steady state concentration with all the plasma tissue and in plasma, and long management disease is required. A drug shows sufficient effect to that particular disease or for long period of a time. Next is to maintain the desired MTC, that is minimum therapeutic concentration of that particular antibiotic. Means suppose you are taking a drug for antibiotic purpose or certain bacterial infection, then in this condition, your drug should sufficiently kill that bacteria, inhibit the growth of bacteria, and act as a resistance to that particular bacteria, and should maintain also a specific therapeutic concentration or therapeutic response of your drug of that particular antibiotic. Next is for achieving prolonged therapeutic activity, means also maintain the particular therapeutic activity or show the particular therapeutic effect of that particular drug. So also maintain the therapeutic activity, as well as single dose is usually unsuitable to maintain the steady state plasma concentration. When single dose is not sufficient to maintain the steady state, means steady state is mainly for multiple dosing. In the steady state, we maintain the concentration of therapeutic effect of a particular drug. Before eliminating complete drug, you should administer second dose. So single dose administration is not maintained. Steady state concentration is not possible to maintain in a single dose drug concentration. And in this, MDR is established in the single dose administration. So in next, for quickly metabolized drug, like first pass effect, MDR is necessary. Multiple dose regimen is also necessary for those type of drug who quickly metabolize or completely metabolize through your body. Mainly first pass effect we are considering in this. Next is prophylactic treatment of many disease. In this prophylactic treatment, we also study of many problem or many disease. Prophylactic of treatment of many diseases is also necessary. Next is to destroy the infected organism. Means if you are taking a drug or a particular dose to that particular organism or that particular infection, so your drug should remove complete infection or kill that particular bacteria and show the required effect to that particular organism. So your drug should also destroy the infected organism or may show the response or therapeutic sufficient response of your drug. Next is narrow therapeutic index drug will cause toxicity like phenytoin. In this condition, we can say that those drugs who are narrow toxicity or narrow therapeutic index, so those drugs also cause some toxicity. In this example is phenytoin. Phenytoin is also have a narrow therapeutic index and it show more toxic effect. In this, multiple dosing is required. In this purpose, these are the purpose of multiple doses regimen. Next is multiple dosing with prospective to oral route. We can compare these multiple dosing with oral route or oral formulation. Oral multiple doses regimen is follow. A plasma concentration will be increased, reach maximum, and means we can say that in this plasma concentration is reaches when we are taking the multiple doses regimen, or you are taking the drug concentration in multiple regimen. So plasma concentration will be increased and reach to maximum and begin to decline. When it's every drug, you can also say that single dose or multiple dose. Both dosing have a sufficient therapeutic effect, and after reaching to that particular therapeutic effect of that particular dose, then it will start decline or falling down, and second dose be administered before to absorb the drug in first dose is eliminated. Means before completing these procedure is also same for oral route. Before completing first dose effect or complete elimination of first dose, you should administer second dose before completing the complete elimination of first dose. So in this, first it reaches to maximum concentration, and after maximum concentration it start to decline. And in this, before complete decline or before complete elimination, we administer the second dose or taking the second dose. So you should maintain that particular response or therapeutic response or steady state of your drug. Next is consequently plasma concentration resulting from second dose will be higher than first dose. Means plasma dose of second dose will be higher required, and first compared to your first dose, you should increase concentration of a drug repetitively. Means suppose you are taking 300 mg first dose, then in this second dose condition, you should require more than 300 mg before 400 mg or 500 mg. So your second dose is always higher or greater than your first dose. Next is this increase in concentration with dose will continue to occur until a steady state is reaches. As this increasing concentration or steady state is continue until the steady state is reaches or complete steady state is received. So this steady state is reached at which drug is enter into the body and is equal to rate exist. Means both input and output are equal in the steady state concentration. Entering of your drug in your body is equals to exit or out of your drug in your body. So you should maintain this condition. Entry and exit of your drug should be in a limited condition and should be in a maintained condition, or both are equal input as well as output. Next is pharmacokinetic model. So these are the pharmacokinetic model in this compartmental modeling that we are studying: one compartment, two compartment, or multi-compartmental model. Next is non-compartmental model. This is not depend on these type of compartmental assumption rather than non-compartmental model. Next is physiological model. In this, we are picking the model of some animal model or any other model. So in this physiological model, so in this compartmental model are classical pharmacokinetic model that simulate the kinetic process of a drug, include absorption, distribution, metabolism, and both metabolism and excretion. Means you can say that pharmacokinetic study of your drug or kinetic study of your ADMA procedure is known as compartmental model. In this, we included both absorption, distribution, as well as elimination, excretion, and metabolism with little physiological detail. So in this compartmental model, we study the kinetic parameter of the ADMA parameter. Next is open and closed model. So in this open and closed model, these are the two types in compartmental modeling, because compartmental model is further divided into different categories: one compartmental, two compartmental, or open or closed model. So in this open means administration of the dose is eliminated out from your body by excretory mechanism. Means continuous absorption and elimination takes place. Your drug don't accumulate in your body. Your drug administered and it get eliminated out from your body from excretory mechanism. Next is closed compartment. So in this closed compartment, you can say the drug is dose is not eliminated from your body. You should consider complete drug accumulate in your body or show effect, or maybe show some toxic unwanted effect, but it don't show elimination procedure in this closed compartment. So this is the difference between open compartment and closed compartment. Means in open compartment, we can say that complete absorption and elimination takes place from your body, and in closed compartment, elimination is not done from your body. So this is two types: open and closed compartmental model or compartmental modeling. So in compartment, these are some tissue organ where the perfusion of a drug takes place, or you can say the effect of a drug is produced. So in this compartmental modeling, first is highly perfused tissue, which have high capacity to take the drug or uptake the drug. So, and next is poorly perfused tissue. These are just opposite to highly perfused tissue, and it have a less capacity for taking the drug to that particular amount. Next is a fat group. Fat group is mainly depending on the type of a drug. Suppose your drug is oil soluble or fat soluble, then in this condition, it have more accumulation in fat group or fat tissue. Next is negligible perfused tissue group. Means in this we can say that no absorption is takes place, but very little amount of drug is also absorbed. So it can be a negligible amount or very little or less amount in this particular perfused tissue. So these are the four compartments according to capacity or requirement of particular drug. or in your body, highly perfused drug, then poorly perfused, then fat growth, and negligible perfused tissue growth. Next is compartmental modeling. In this compartmental model, it is divided into two types, that is mammillary model and catenary model. These is a two compartmental model, two subdivided compartmental model, mammillary and catenary model. Next, we discuss two compartmental open model, that is major topic of this lecture. And this two compartmental open model, this is also divided into different types. So in this, we will start this two compartmental open model. So in this two compartmental, there's two compartment name itself say that there's two compartment involved for this mechanism or this process. So these are the two compartment. One is central compartment, second is tissue or peripheral compartment. These two compartment is mainly responsible for this pharmacokinetic or mechanism of this compartmental model. So in the central compartment, one is blood and extravascular fluid that is highly perfused. In this, we are considering those tissue or those organs which have highly perfusion as takes place. So that is central compartment where the blood and extravascular fluid or highly perfused tissue is present. This is known as central compartment, and the drug distributed rapidly and uniformly in central compartment. You can also understand these point that drug distribute rapidly as well as uniformly in central compartment, because in this only those type of tissue or organs are present who have a higher capacity of perfusion rate or highly perfusion is takes place that particular tissue or extravascular fluid or in the blood. And next is tissue or peripheral compartment. So in this tissue and peripheral compartment, we can say that remaining tissue are included, which are not come in the central compartment. So in this tissue or peripheral compartment, mainly we include a tissue in which drug that equilibrated more slowly or perfusion takes place more slowly compared to a central compartment. So in this, we include those tissue organ who have a less capacity to get passes that particular drug. Next is drug transfer between the two compartments is assumed to take place first order process. Means the process between two compartments is also assumed condition and first order process takes place in tissue as well as peripheral compartment in drug. Next is two compartmental open model. This is the general diagram or general process of two compartmental model where the processes takes place. This is divided into three categories. That is model A, model B, and model C. This is a subtypes or subcategory of two compartmental open model. So in this model A, that is central compartment. And in this after central compartment, you are taking a drug or administering the drug. Now it reaches to peripheral compartment, means from highly perfused tissue to low perfused tissue or organ. And this is a constant K2 compartment from central to peripheral, and it again comes back to central compartment so that it can remaining drug can easily excrete it out, or maybe some amount or some extent of drug can reabsorb. So this is model 1 where the elimination takes place from the central compartment. Next is model 2 where the central compartment to peripheral compartment. This procedure is seen for your model A type, but here only the elimination process that changed. In this, we can say that drug comes from a central compartment to peripheral compartment, or drug transfer from central compartment to peripheral compartment. But elimination takes place from peripheral compartment, means your drug is not goes to again in a central compartment for elimination. Drug can go in central compartment, but for only reabsorption purpose, where the excretion or elimination is not takes place from the central compartment, the elimination takes place from peripheral compartment. Next is model C, that is third model. In the central compartment to peripheral compartment, this drug goes to the central compartment to peripheral compartment or reaches central to peripheral compartment. In this, elimination takes place in both compartments from central as well as peripheral compartment. It's a third type where the elimination takes place in both compartments. Means in type 1, elimination takes place from only the central compartment, and in type 2, elimination takes place from peripheral compartment, not in central compartment, and type 3, where the elimination takes place from both central as well as peripheral compartment. These are the three types of two compartmental open model. Next, in this assessment of two compartmental open model. So in this assessment method, this is a method of residue. In this, C is equals to AE minus alpha D plus BE minus beta 2T And when you simplify this equation, because absorption is an amount that can easily absorb, not eliminate out from your body, then we receive equation C is equals to BE minus beta T. And when we convert it into log form, then this is a log form equation. Log C is equals to log B minus BT divided by 2.303. So this is the equation. In this time versus plasma level we are plotting, and in this we can see that distribution elimination phase are in a decline phase or decline condition. So in this method of residue, this is the formula C is equals to AE alpha dt that we already covered, and it's modified into log form or converting into log form. Or when we apply the log, it converted into log. C is equals to log B minus BT divided by 2.303. And this is a graph where we are plotting the time versus plasma level, and distribution phase and elimination phase that decline slowly at particular time period. And this next is pharmacokinetic parameter. So these are the pharmacokinetic parameter in this modeling. One is area under the curve. In this, where the maximum response is observed or peak of your drug is response observed. Next is volume of distribution, means how much drug is distributed out in your body, and total concentration of a drug distributed out in your body. Next is rate constant of a drug transfer, means how much constant rate drug transfer from one compartment to another compartment perfusion tissue. Then half-life of a drug, means half-life or half of a drug can show the particular therapeutic response. In this, we considering the half dose of your drug or half of your drug for particular effect. Next is clearance. In this clearance, we are considering the elimination clearance rate of your drug, that we consider that clear out from your body, and elimination constant. So in this, elimination constant is the removal of drug or elimination out of drug from your body. So elimination constant, clearance, half-life, rate transfer of a drug, and volume of distribution, area under the curve. These are the parameter pharmacokinetic. And by the proper substitution of following value in the above listed parameter, then we can evaluate CO is equals to A plus B. And when we say that elimination rate, then K is equals to alpha, beta, and C0 divided by A beta plus B alpha. And when we say that this reaches from central to peripheral compartment, then AB in bracket beta minus alpha square divided by C0 in bracket A beta plus B alpha, and K21, that is peripheral compartment, A beta plus B alpha divided by C0. Next is area under the curve. In this, you see A divided by alpha plus B beta, where the apparent volume of a central compartment is BC is equals to X0 divided by C0, X0 divided by KE in bracket AUC, area under the curve, the apparent volume of peripheral compartment. This equation for central compartment where the highly perfused tissue or organs are present, and this is for peripheral compartment where the low perfusion takes place. In this, BP is equals to, that is peripheral compartment, and this is volume in central compartment. Next, BP is equals to BC K12 divided by K21. And in this, apparent volume of distribution at a steady state or equilibrium is VD, and a steady state is equals to BC plus VP, means central plus peripheral compartment. Next, apparent volume of distribution from the area. In this, VD area is equals to X0 beta AUC, and half-life is T half is equals to 0.693 divided by beta. Where the total systemic clearance is equals to beta VD, and renal clearance in renal is equals to DXU divided by DT is equals to KE into BC. And this is a two-compartmental open model for intravenous infusion. So when we drug given by intravenous infusion, so this is the administration, that is RO. In first central compartment, then it reaches to second peripheral compartment, it's come back for reabsorption and get eliminated out. And the plasma of central compartment concentration of the drug when administered as a constant rate or zero order, then IV infusion gives this equation: C is equals to R0 divided by BCKE in bracket 1 plus KE minus beta divided by beta minus alpha E minus alpha T plus KE minus alpha divided by alpha minus beta, and in E minus beta T. At a steady state, that is a time infinity, the second and third third term in the bracket comes 0 and equation reduced to this. So we receive this steady state concentration is equals to 0 divided by Vc into Ke. Now we simplify this equation. We receive that Vc Ke is equals to Vd beta and CSS, that is concentration of steady state, is equals to R0 Vd beta is equals to R0 clearance total. And the loading dose is equals to X OFPL. This is equals to CS Vc is equals to R0 divided by Ke. Next model, this model is for intravenous infusion model, and next model is two compartmental open model, that is for drug given by extravascular route. So in this, when we drug administer, then Ka means absorption is equals to in central compartment, then it reaches to peripheral compartment, second compartment, now again come back to first compartment and get eliminated out. And in the plasma concentration at any time t for a drug that enters body by first order absorption process and distribution according to two compartmental model is given by C is equals to Ne Kat plus Le At and plus Me alpha t, sorry, beta t. And in this, C is the absorption exponent plus distribution exponent plus elimination exponent. So this is the concentration of total exponent including absorption, distribution and elimination. And this is the equation form of the concentration including absorption, distribution and elimination. Next, where K is the first order absorption constant. In this, alpha beta are the hybrid first order constant for the rapid. And so both have the hybrid reaction in alpha and beta distribution phase and slow elimination phase reactively and are hypothetical coefficient. This is a graph for the this order, or you can say that this equation. In this, T versus log C means we are plotting T versus log concentration, and in this this is a slope where Ka minus Ka divided by 2.303 and log n divided by log m. In this, this is a peak to plasma concentration, and this is another peak where we can say that back extrapolated distribution curve is received, and this equation gives the back extrapolated elimination rate. This is elimination rate, and with the first residue curve is this one, where the first peak is received and second peak is received here. The true plasma concentration is received and slope is minus Ka divided by 2.303. So in this, log L is equals to log n divided by log m. Next is, after completing this lecture, this is a conclusion part that we should know about conclusion of this lecture. So in this pharmacokinetic model, predict drug deposition after drug administration. Means you can say that the model included predict deposition after drug administration, and a statistical method are used for estimation of data interpretation of pharmacokinetic parameter. Means there's one equation for you can calculate or interpret these data, including infusion as well as extravascular, and useful in drug formulation treatment regimen. Means for particular disease, for selecting of single dose or multiple dose, or how many doses required for that particular doses or particular formulation. Next is true behavior within the body might to be able to fit different component compartmental model depending upon the route of administration. Means which route you prefer, or depending on the route of administration, you can easily select these route. So this is a conclusion of this topic for today's lecture. Next is learning outcome. After completing this lecture, you should know about these learning outcome, because this is depending on this topic. You should know about each and everything of this learning outcome of this lecture. So in this introduction of a two compartmental model, what is the two compartmental model, including introduction, definition, descriptive part of this two compartmental model. Next is assessment of two compartmental model, including some equation that we already covered. Assessment, how to calculate this assessment parameter models, assessment. Two compartmental model by IV infusion that we already covered in this IV infusion, or when given that by IV infusion, and two compartment model for extravascular administration. This extravascular administration already we covered with the equation. Since all their parameters we already covered, including IV infusion, extravascular administration, assessment, and introduction part. What is two compartmental model? In this we see the four model A to D, and how the three model A to C, where the only the elimination rate get changed in one model from central compartment from A model, and B from peripheral, and in C model both central and peripheral models are involved for elimination of it. So this is the learning outcome that you should know. Next is reference part. In this reference, first is Milo, Gibaldi, Donaldo, Carrier, Pharmacokinetics, second edition, page number is 1 to 89. Second is Leon Sargent, Suhana, B.U. Pong. Fifth edition 512105. Next is P. Bromhos, T. H. Kendallson, and J. Odinson, compartmental modeling 1 to 32 patient. Next is Sunil S. Jamalkar, Sunil B. Jaswal, basic pharmacokinetics and pharmacokinetic help class. Page number is 185 to 289. Next is Aldo Rasingo in this foundation of pharmacokinetic 135 to 149. Next is PL Madan Biopharmaceutics and Pharmacokinetics, first edition 173 to 283. This is the page number. Next is Steven B. Heavifeld, Steven Lichman, Rivas B. Bangoter, Jack Wong, Body Composition of Human, American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, Index 5259. This is a chapter, or you can say book, not a book, but paper of that particular journal. And Joseph D. Dipro, Vulvin, Spiral, Concept and Clinical Pharmacokinetics, fourth edition 19 to 45, page number. Next is V. Venkateshwar Rao, Fundamental of Biopharmaceutics and Pharmacokinetics, 109 to 196. Next is HPT Fiance Amrita Bajaj, Principle and Application of Biopharmaceutics and Pharmacokinetics, 213 to 259. Next is Brahmankar Sunil B. Jaiswal, Biopharmaceutics and Pharmacokinetic Activity, 212272, page number. Next, last reference is G.S. Kulkarni, A.P. Pawar, V.P. Sevadkar, Biopharmaceutics and Pharmacokinetics, CBS Publisher 165 to 193. All these books are sufficient for this topic, or you can use some of this book out of all the book. All books are good. After this, there's the next part is question part. In this question part, first question is what does pharmacokinetic include? Means what is the pharmacokinetic, or in this pharmacokinetic, which parameter they include? So in this, A option is drug biotransformation in the organism. This influence of a drug on metabolism process. C is the influence of a drug on the gene, and D is the combination of a drug therapy. And so correct answer is A, that we already discussed in this lecture. Pharmacokinetics include drug biotransformation in the organism. And second question, it is composed of a group of tissue with lower blood perfusion and different affinity of a drug with slow distribution. This compartment is also, we'll discuss this as two compartments, central and peripheral compartment. So according to perfusion rate, we already discussed different description part of this compartmental model. So in this composed group of tissue or low perfusion, we can say that first compartment is central compartment, second is peripheral, next is both central and peripheral. This will include A and B, both compartment, and last one is none. Next is multi-compartmental model. Assume that all transfer rate passes a passage of a drug into out of individual compartment process. Means in multi-compartment rate in and output takes place, and this is equal that we already discussed. So this individual compartment, this output and input is depending on which rate of reaction. So in this, A option is first order, second is B second order, C is pseudo order. Next, third option, fourth option is third order. So out of this four option ABCD, you can select which order is better or suitable for in and output of a drug. Next is what does pharmacokinetic include? A is mechanism of the drug action, B is localization of a drug action, and C is the interaction of a drug substance, and D is the excretion of a drug substance. So in this, you know about what is pharmacokinetics include, or in pharmacokinetic, which parameter we include? Mechanism, localization, or interaction, or excretion of a drug substance. Next is mathematical concept will describe a space in your body which drug appear to occupy. S is order of reaction, B is compartment, C is distribution, and D is elimination. So according to mathematical concept, you can select any correct option out of this four option which is suitable in space in your body for drug occupy or appear. Next is the manner in which drug is taken. So how much manner you are taking that drug is known as term. In this, there's a four option. Doses regimen, second is doses volume, C is doses loading, and D is doses regimen. According to this, you can select any one correct term which is suitable for manner in which your drug is taken or selecting your drug. Next is linear pharmacokinetic is also referred as a first order kinetic, B is second order kinetic, C is pseudo order kinetics, and fourth one is third order kinetics. So according to this four option, you can select which is appropriate for linear pharmacokinetic. So in this, extent to which drug accumulates related to the first dose can be qualified by accumulation factor R. In this is accumulation index, B is the apparent volume of distribution, C is accumulation factor, and D is the third order kinetics. So this is the fourth option for checking the extent or how much drug accumulate in your body to that particular dose. So out of this four option, you can easily select which is suitable for factor F. Next is biological half-life equation for first order is T half is equals to 8 divided by 2K. B is T half is equals to 0.693 divided by K. Next is T half is equals to 3 divided by 2K. Next is correct option is in this B, that is T half is 0.93K, and the rate of diffusion of drug across the biological membrane is directly proportional to the concentration gradient, is dependent on route of administration, C is indirectly proportional to the membrane area, and D is indirectly proportional to lipophilicity. So these are the questions which is related to this topic. After completing this lecture, understanding this complete lecture, you can easily answer these questions. So thank you so much for watching and listening this video. Thank you everyone.